Hello, this is the Lord's Legion and welcome to the best villains ever. The show in which I talk about a specific villain and talk about their backstories, abilities, greatest feats and why I love them so much. Now it has been a long time since I last talked about a video game villain in mind, and since Mortal Kombat 11 is right around the corner, I thought now is the perfect time into breaking the cycle and talk about yet another villain within the Mortal Kombat lore. And while most MK villains, or more specifically the bosses, are kinda lackluster, who can barely even hold a candle to Shao Kahn, I think there's a certain villain within the Mortal Kombat universe who does stand out despite not being a major boss outside of, let's say, Deadly Alliance. But the villain in question is of course Quan Chi, who in my mind is one of the most influential villains within the entire lore. So without further ado, let's begin with his backstory, or their lack of. Because the origin of Quan Chi is very much shrouded in mystery, although it is widely believed that Quan Chi is a demon from the Netherrealm. Although what is known about his origin is the fact that Quan Chi is a power-hungry sorcerer, who has this lust into conquering multiple realms and eventually even the universe itself. Though through his quest for more power, Quan Chi eventually stumbled across the fallen elder god Lord Shinnok, who at the time was being tortured and imprisoned by the Netherrealm's current ruler, Lucifer. During their first encounter, the desperate Shinnok promised power to Quan Chi if he could release him and aid him into overthrowing Lucifer and conquer the Netherrealm, as to which Quan Chi agreed and successfully overthrew Lucifer in Shinnok's name. But as you could imagine, both Quan Chi and Shinnok were craving for more power and wanted to conquer more realms. But while the sorcerer would serve the fallen elder god, Quan Chi has always had his own agenda, as he would manipulate his way through everything in order to get what he wants. And once Quan Chi becomes powerful enough, he would gladly backstab Shinnok in order to move forward with his plans and ultimately become the most powerful sorcerer in the universe. Now looking back on Quan Chi's backstory, you can sense that there's a lot of mystery surrounding the character because we really don't know where he originated, despite how he is believed to be a demon from the Netherrealm. And much like most of the villains from the MK lore, Quan Chi is a power-hungry sorcerer who is hell-bent on gaining more power and ultimately conquer the entire universe. However, unlike Shao Kahn, who would rely solely on his brute strength, Quan Chi would rely solely on his sorcery as well as his intellect, which makes Quan Chi a very different villain but just as dangerous. Now there's no denying that Quan Chi does have plenty of powers and abilities at his disposal, and while Quan Chi possesses superhuman strength and agility, his main asset is of course his sorcery, which does grant him a wide range of magical spells. Some of the spells consist of astral projection, energy blasts, energy-based constructs, energy enhanced strikes, fire control, and can even generate his own force field. Not to mention that Quan Chi is also capable of telepathy, hypnosis, mesmerize, illusion casting, levitation, teleport, shapeshift, longevity, necromancy, and can even siphon abilities and life force. And on top of that, Quan Chi also has genius level intellect, as well as being a master manipulator and even possesses some leadership skills. And to top it all off, Quan Chi is a very skilled hand-to-hand combatant, as well as being a gifted swordsman and even a weapons master. Now over the years, Quan Chi has achieved plenty of incredible feats, however it can be rather difficult into picking out which are the most impressive as well as which can be considered canon. And so I am mainly going to be focusing on the original timeline as well as the alternate timeline, and I will also mention some feats from the MKX comic line since that is technically canon to the alternate timeline. For starters, Quan Chi is considered to be the superior sorcerer in comparison to Shang Tsung, as he was capable of overpowering the sorcerer by lifting him up by the throat. Plus Quan Chi is also capable of ripping a guy's head off, and can even crush a head with a single stomp. And in terms of durability, Quan Chi can take some blasts of lightning by Raiden and can get up like nothing has happened, and can even survive an extended beatdown from Sonya Blade despite the fact that he was very much weakened at the time. Not to mention that Quan Chi also survived long enough while impaled by Scorpion to complete a magic spell. Plus he can also create a barrier before a lightning attack from Raiden can hit him. Quan Chi is such a skilled necromancer that he can easily revive two skeletons and use them as servants, granting them the ability of swordsmanship. He can also summon Scorpion from the Netherrealm, seeing as how Scorpion is technically a revenant of Quan Chi's. Not to mention that he also restored Sindel to life and brainwashed it into Shao Kahn's will, and even revived the fallen heroes into becoming his own revenants. Another crazy feat of his is the fact that he is capable of creating a brand new body for Sub-Zero, stripping him away from the cybernetics and giving him a brand new human body. Plus one of his gold projectiles can rip through a demon's chest. Not to mention that Quan Chi also killed Draman by incinerating him with a magic attack. Plus his sorcery is so advanced that he used his healing magic to accelerate Shao Kahn's recovery, and is also capable of creating bulletproof barriers as previously mentioned, as well as ripping off his opponent's legs and beating them to death by destroying their skulls, and can even kill his enemies by simply stretching their necks, which is somehow a thing. But most impressively, Quan Chi was the one who orchestrated the whole Shirai Ryu massacre, masquerading as Bihan Sub-Zero and led the Lin Kuei into slaughtering the rival clan. And once Quan Chi stumbled across Hanzo Hasashi, he would revive the former ninja as a revenant by the name Scorpion, just as a means to manipulate the yellow ninja into killing Bihan. Now, despite how Quan Chi isn't technically a classic MK character, he is very popular enough into appearing in other mediums, such as his appearance in the cartoon Defenders of the Realm. And as you can imagine, since this cartoon was aimed towards kids, this incarnation of Quan Chi is very much watered down. Plus he was also a major character within the TV series known as Mortal Kombat Conquest, portrayed by Adoni Moripus. And despite how he may have came across a bit cheesy given the fact that it was somewhat connected to the MK movies, I still think he did translate relatively well. At least more so than most of the characters that appeared on that show. And lastly, Quan Chi did have a cameo appearance in Mortal Kombat Legacy portrayed by Michael Rogers, in which, much like the series itself, this was more of a modern take of the character. Although it does stay true to the fact that he is a master manipulator who is pretty much responsible for the birth of Scorpion. Now, why I personally think Quan Chi stands out in comparison to most other MK villains is simply because while he isn't exactly the strongest combatant in the universe, Quan Chi would prefer to rely on his manipulation as well as his sorcery. It doesn't matter to Quan Chi on how long it takes for him to set out a plan, because Quan Chi is a chess player who will always play the long game until the time is right for him to strike. And while on the surface he may seem to be somewhat of a servant, Quan Chi always has his own hidden agenda, and that's just what makes him all the more cunning, because you will never know for certain when he will backstab you. And so because of his very mysterious backstory, as well as being a very cunning sorcerer and just being one of the most influential characters within the MK lore, this is why I personally believe that Quan Chi is one of the best villains of all time. So are you a huge fan of Quan Chi, and what is your personal favourite incarnation of this certain sorcerer? Comment below and share some thoughts. And as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Take care and have a good one.